Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. 4 days left in this month, weekend almost here. It's hump day. And I looked at the menu and I was like, holy cow, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games all starting before 3:40. So I got on the horn and I'm like, damn it, Riley, we better get on here in the morning and try to break down some of these games. Maybe we see something. Maybe you see something that I don't see because ECSI VIPs is, as Foreigner would say, cold as ice. We come off probably one of our biggest weekends ever with a 5-1, and we hit not one, not two, but three parlays for 20 units on Sunday, and go 0-3 on Monday and 0-2 yesterday. Last night, Colorado team total over 5.5 plus 120. Four double plays will end that pretty damn quick. And as Riley said, behind the scenes, with one of the worst fielding teams, a Kopech and a Marquez who probably couldn't get URI out now look like, Pedro and Kershaw. And they get the job done. 2-1 final there, and Riley finally gets again back over the 500 mark. Here come the White Sox, and then the comedy of all comedies. We had the Giants minus a run and a half. They put up actually down 2-0, then 2-2, then down 5-2. Here's the funny thing about the 5-2. They gave up 5 runs on 2 hits. I'll say that again. 5 runs on 2 hits. And I'm glad that, as usual, the Giants bullpen stunk pond water and basically gave up a few in the 8th, so it didn't sting as much as I was seething. I do want to say program note. Tonight at 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock on Sportsnet Radio, I will be co-hosting live from 8 to 10 at the Hyannis Village. No, actually, I think the Irish Village, which is now moved to Hyannis, with Anthony Pepe. So I'll be making my debut live remote co-host with him. Super stoked, excited. Gonna be a blast there. So we'll be talking some sports and rubbing elbows with Mr. Anthony Pepe tonight. So excited for that. But with all that said, let's go to the Windy City. Let's bring in the new lease of life. His White Sox are back. The one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Morning, Riley.
Morning, my friend. Just got back from the above 500 parade that we've had over here over the last hour here in the nice beautiful city of Chicago. Getting the morning started with a nice above 500 parade. But no, kudos or condolences to you as far as the team total there in that last night's game. Yeah. The 4 double plays, 4 inning double plays was it was a welcome sight for my eyes, but obviously a sore sight for your eyes. But nonetheless, happy to be here. Obviously, like you said, we've got I don't remember how many you said, but a boatload of games here before 3 or 4 o'clock here before the evening slate. So and a handful of games that should be pretty damn solid. So I'm ready to rock and roll wherever you would like, my friend. There's a decent one here at 11 a.m. my time, 12 a.m. noon your time. So take it away, my friend. Wherever you'd like to go, I am ready to go.
I'm just going to go down this board for a second, and I'm going to say, where are we here? Baltimore, 49-48. Cleveland, 49-47. Your White Sox, 49-48. Oh, yeah. The Red Sox, 49-49. And the reason I said that is they are now dead ass last in the East. The Orioles winning back-to-back against Tampa is not as eye-opening as the fact that they beat McClanahan, which not many people have done. This pesky Orioles team not going anywhere. And I heard something today, and it's the first time I heard it. I threw MLB Central on, and they have the chips. Now, by saying they have the chips, I there's no way in hell I think they get rid of the American League Rookie of the Year. But I heard Seattle as a potential landing spot for Soto.
For Soto, Juan Soto, you're saying?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I mean, they've always been a team where they will get aggressive if they think. I mean, I remember they obviously went aggressive and went after Robbie Cano. It obviously hasn't really worked out after his time in New York. But that's a team that if they've got the horses to do that type of deal, then they'll get aggressive and do it. And obviously we've talked about the type of drought that they have for the playoffs, so they obviously want to get that off their back. And it wouldn't shock me. I think the Nats are obviously willing to get a bidding war going. So if the Mariners got it going, then why not? If you're the Nationals, why not send them over there?
And you go all in for Soto, and the thought process is obviously we got to get a contract extension. Now these guys are asking for 15 years, and I think Scott Boras is involved in this one. No one in their right mind is going to give out 15 years in my mind. I mean, I might go to 10 and add, push up the AV because this 15 years is 29 million per, which, in 4 or 5 years, when guys are making, 35, 40, 45, he's going to be wanting a new contract, which in baseball doesn't happen. But you can get him for 2 years control. So you don't have to officially push all in and say, hey, we're going to get him for the run this year. And then we got 2 years with him. And then Seattle will be sitting there saying, hey, are we going to get the extension done? If not, then they become the team to get all the assets back.
Right, and you would have to, it gives them a lot of flexibility, obviously, and being a destination like them, you have to have that type of flexibility because obviously they haven't been, a perennial free agent destination. Who's to say he doesn't want to go to LA or New York, right? So, having that flexibility, I think, is huge, especially, if they sell the farm for him, then obviously they want the farm back when if it is time to go. So, it's going to be heated up here over this next few days. I do think he's going to definitely be dealt. Obviously, that's what the rumors are saying. So, I hope he stays in the National League. If he, my White Sox aren't a true contender for him, but I hope he stays in the National League for my sake. But, the Mariners, that would be an interesting one. And, it doesn't put them over the edge as far as the Astros are concerned, but it at least gives them a nice, centerpiece to their team that they can at least try to build around for the next couple of years, at least, obviously, unless they can get an extension done, right?
And well before I'm not saying your time, but Seattle has had stars. They've had the Ken Griffey Juniors, they've had the A-Rods, they've had the Randy Johnsons, the Jay Buners, they had Ichiro. Right. So it's not like that they haven't had stars. They have a J-Rod right now, Rookie of the Year in the American League, put on a show and a half in the home run derby. So just the calling card and ticket wise, if you're wheeling out Soto and J-Rod, that's a pretty good start there.
No, definitely. And like you said, throw in Felix Hernandez to that list of stars. And obviously that city embraces whenever they've got winning teams, especially I have to imagine they're, I don't know any Seattle Mariners fans personally, but I have to imagine they're starving for, let alone a championship, just a nice playoff runner too. So I think they're going to be willing to go all out for whatever they got to do to get there.
All right. I'm going to pass the board over to you. I got Don Best to the left. I got Wager Talk to the right. I got Sports Insight above that. I'm ready to go.
Alrighty, my friend. Like I said, first one up of the day should be a decent one. 11:35 my time, 12:35 your time. Braves and Phillies, Morton and Kyle Gibson in this one. Morton has been obviously 4.2 ERA, but he's been hit or miss. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks last time against the Angels. Kyle Gibson, I do believe, is in a pretty, you might assume he's in a bounce back spot. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs against the Cubs this past week. He's been a pretty decent bounce back guy this season, Gibson I'm talking about. So I'm not sure if that's what we expect. Obviously, this Braves team has been one of the better teams over the last couple of months. Any expectation between these pitchers? Would you expect if you had to go anywhere, maybe Morton regression or a bounce back for Gibson? And if so, is there anything you like? Maybe whether or not you like the value on the Phillies. Would you go Phillies? Would you go team total, or is this all Braves and all Morton today?
I'm disappointed in myself for a reason why the Phillies get game one and more game two. I thought the number was telling you Strider was the right side there, and they win last night. I don't have a good feel for this number, meaning Morton opened up at 150. He's down to 140 at Circa, 145 at South Point. It's too deep of a number for me. Uh, you know what? Seeing that there's 9 games today, I'm going to stay away from that game because, to be honest with you, I, I I think it's a coin flip, meaning you're getting a great price on the Phillies, but on the same token, Ground Chuck has shown flashes, as you said, good spot for Gibson on a bounce back. The rubber game, I think it's an absolute coin toss.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think in earlier years of my MLB capping experience, I probably would have forced myself into this one, but I'm with you. I think it's closer to a coin flip here. So we will move on to the next one about 30 minutes after that one. San Diego and Detroit. Darvish and Skubal. Skubal, I saw some rumors as far as he and just about anyone on the Tigers being available for a trade, and rightfully so, I would say. But Darvish on the mound for the Padres. Were you surprised to see this one with Darvish on the mound at minus 140, or is that some respect to Skubal at home there for the Tigers?
Scubal's gotten a lot of respect, especially early in the year. He came out guns ablaze and then gets nicked up and then it struggled. Now he's on the front stage like Montas was again. He's who has been on that stage all year. Now in comes Scubal. The talk obviously is Castillo to the Yankees. There's another pitcher. So it's going to get really, really wild in the next 4 to 5 days here. Darvish, for me, has been a lightning rod, or should I say kryptonite, have been on the wrong side of him, I think, the last 3 or 4 times. If you have the numbers there, I think he had a decent start last game and the time before we had him, and he blew up like a wood tick.
Yeah, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run last time out, 1 walk, 9 Ks against the Mets. So yeah, it's been interesting spots. When he's rolling, and then obviously there's been points where that's not been the case. He actually has a couple guys in this lineup against for the Tigers. I've hit him decently. I guess Miguel Cabrera in the 4 spot, 8 for 21 is the best numbers against Darvish throughout, at least for the lineup that we have here today. So, yeah, that one's an interesting one. The total at 7. So not sure what you make of that one, but because if we're talking about a total of 7, if that's true, then you have to imagine both these guys should be pretty good, but maybe one of these guys is nails, and maybe it's Darvish that slips up a little bit here. So next one, Angels and Kansas City. Jansen Junk and Brad Keller in this one. Junk's second appearance, I do believe, this season, so not really sure what to make of him. If he's perfect name for a pitcher. If he's good, then he's got the nasty junk. If he's bad, then he is just plain old junk. So any read from you on him? Obviously, Keller on the other end is pretty hit or miss all season long. He's either very good for 6 innings or he's very bad for 5-6 innings. So which way do you lean on this one?
I have to. Angels blow up yesterday. Offense wakes up. You know what? I think Junk. I mean, what are they going to get from him? 2, 3, 4 innings.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. We know the Angels bullpen is junk as well. I think Vegas making a pretty good statement here that they put their flag down on Kansas City. I do have a slight lean on Kansas City here, even though Keller, like you said, is hit or miss. And it'd be interesting to see. Do you have a lineup card in front of you for the Angels?
The Angels, not yet. No, Kansas City is released. Still waiting on the Angels.
Okay, so again, the Shoheis and the night game into a day game. Who's sending, who's not, but slight lean to the Royals here. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think I'm with you on this one. Let's see. Next one up, going to Milwaukee, Minnesota, and Milwaukee. I do believe the Brewers got the win last night. This one is in Milwaukee, if I didn't mention. Archer and Burns. Brewers laying about minus 200. Total is at 8. Both offenses separately, obviously, didn't play each of the last 5 times. Both offenses 6+ runs in 4 of their last 5. But as I mentioned, Brewers minus 200, total of 8. Are those numbers telling you we're going to have a pretty nasty Corbin Burns start? Or are you seeing something else here as far as these odds are concerned?
The Chris Archer, I talked about the last night in this game with Scott. Are you getting Dylan Bundy or Al Bundy?
Yeah.
And obviously, we got Al Bundy, and Milwaukee gets the walk off 7-6. The minus 195 initially to me, I want to say looks short, but I don't think it is because Minnesota can score. It doesn't matter who's pitching.
Right.
And you're looking at an under over opened at 8.5 under minus 20 cents, now down to 8.5 under 15. I think everyone's expecting actually at Westgate 7.5 over minus 115. The Corbin Burns, back end ready to roll. I guess the only way you could get in here if you wanted to back Milwaukee, obviously, is with the full game run line and hope that they win by 2 or more. Milwaukee's backhand has shown some cracks. I don't have a problem with people back in Milwaukee. I would just tread lightly because Minnesota can score.
No, I'm with you. I'm trying to see if we've got any odds on any, first five or full game team odds. Nothing crazy. Under 1.5 minus 120. That's I don't like the price on that one. Under 3.5 for the full game minus 140. So tough to get in on those as well. So if you're liking Corbin Burns, that is obviously. If you think Corbin Burns is getting blown up, then you've got a couple plus money team total options right there. On the other hand, there, Washington and the LA Dodgers, the Nationals have taken the first two. We talked a little bit on Monday as far as maybe tread lightly a little bit there, and I had the Nationals first five. Took till the fifth inning to get there as far as the first five team total in that one. But they've gotten the last two against the Dodgers. Andrew Heaney making his first appearance since June, and Patrick Corbin, on the other hand, has not been very good, obviously. So are you Heaney obviously hasn't been since June, and he's throughout his career hasn't been exactly fantastic. So is there any way to get into this one, or is this if you've taken any money on the Nationals against the Dodgers, you're probably just cutting your losses and feeling good about yourself that you've found some winners? Any way to get into this one, or are the Dodgers going to go 8-0 to avoid the sweep in this one?
Well, I talked about last night. I actually, we talked on Monday. I said it was a pretty good letdown spot, I thought, for the Dodgers to beware there. And last night was the Josiah Gray revenge tour. I mean, he was part of the Trey Turner and Max deal. Hearing that Corbin could be shot by Washington, so he could be on center stage today. The mindset, obviously, in Vegas is making it almost impossible to get in there, is that the Dodgers obviously will not get swept at home by the Nationals. But how can you back Heaney, who hasn't pitched since June, and then Corbin most likely will blow up like a wood tick, an under over a 9 juiced under minus 15 cents, and a DraftKings 8.5 over. I think the Dodgers probably find a way to get this done, in the 5-6 to 1, 6-2 range.
Yeah, I'm with you. And any of these other options, they're making it pretty tough to get into it. If you think even over 5.5 is minus 105 on DraftKings. I mean, you got to get 6 runs there, and it's not even plus money. And the first 5 team total over 2.5 at minus 140. So they're making it tough for you to get into this one. And obviously, backing the Dodgers to avoid the sweep. So.
The Dodgers last night did what they always do: down 2-0, bottom of the 5th, and miraculously scored 3. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th. So whoever had Dodgers first 5 money line. They're just gifted. It cracks me up how this happens.
Right.
These guys playing the chalk and square plays get gifted at the window.
Right. And next one up, almost the exact same situation, Houston and the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's take the first 2 from the Houston Astros in this one. And you've got Irvin at home. This is in Oakland versus Javier for the Astros. Houston has actually seen Irvin twice this month. Not the same case for Javier. I don't think he's seen Oakland since maybe earlier in the season, but Houston has seen Irvin twice this month. Total is at 7, though, and the Astros getting all the respect, minus 205. Same situation. Is this an opportunity that's a pricing as compared to the Dodgers a little different? If you think the Astros avoid the sweep and in handily fashion, you can catch the full game at minus 120. So I guess not quite the odds you would like on a full game. But anyway, are you backing the Astros to avoid sweep, or is there value on the A's here with Irvin on the mound?
Used to be an auto play on Wednesday or Thursday travel day. Oakland playing in the afternoon. For some reason, they just found a way to win, and the ball usually jumped. Now, obviously, an under over that opened at 7.5, now down to 7. So they're telling you right away, hey, all the eyes are on Houston. All the eyes are on Javier. Hey, we can't get swept here, right? I mean, Houston goes into Seattle and sweeps them, and then in comes Houston to Oakland, and they're going to get swept. But it, if you're doing the run line, okay, that's the easy play, right? That's what your eyes say. All right, I'm going to say they win by 2 or more, and Vegas is like, come on. What are they telling you? 1.5 minus 120.
Minus 1.5. Yep, minus 120. Yep.
Listen, I think that's a hell of a play. I have no problem on backing it, but I here's what I foresee. Houston 4-2, bottom of the ninth. Oakland scratches a run 4-3. Thanks for playing.
I think it is going to be something like that. And the only other thing, I mean, I'm looking on DraftKings over 1.5 for the Astros, minus 155. Obviously, no thank you there. Over 4.5 at plus 105, but when the total is at 7, are you really expecting that team to win 5-2 or 5-1 or whatever? So I'm with you. I think I think 3-4 is probably the winning number in this one. And even if you're back in Oakland, I guess the only way is money line. But I'm not backing the A's to sweep the Astros in this one. So it's another one that's tough, I would say.
I would assume that all the chalk players out there trying to catch up on a few units will start with a parlay of Dodgers money line, Houston money line on not getting swept.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Next one up, a team that's in the probably free falling as hard as anybody, if not more than anybody. The San Francisco Giants still in Arizona here. Webb versus Gallen. Giants 6 straight losses in a row. Giants still minus 120 or so on the full game money line. The total is at 8 in this one. As I mentioned, Gallen on the mound for Arizona. He's been very solid. Are you fading the Giants again here, or is this just stay away until something changes with this team?
I unfortunately stepped in front of it yesterday. I talk about if you didn't go to the wedding, don't go to the funeral. They're free falling. But Vegas made a statement overnight. Webb was minus 130. Gallen was lights out last game. Again, Gallen has been solid. He has blown up in a handful of games. If he's on, he's on. The pesky, and I'm saying pesky now, D-backs are hitting the ball well. And if I told you this, San Fran's got 48 wins this year. They're 48-49. The D-backs now have 44 wins. So I think a lot of people will turn to Gallen in Arizona here. Unfortunately, I trust the opening number, and it was San Fran minus 130. I think Webb gets it done. Unfortunately, they got my money yesterday, and I can't go back to the window today.
I think I'm with you, and I'm just looking to see if we've got any odds on any team total runs. They've been solid at whenever it's 2 or 3 days of rough play, bouncing back to some degree with the offense. Over 4.5 at plus 110. If I'm going anywhere, maybe that's where I'm going, but that even seems like maybe the winner is getting to 3-4 runs, but I don't know. The first 5, it's over 1.5 minus 145. So they've taken the value out of those first 5 team totals here today for the most part, at least on DraftKings there. So another tough one for sure. Texas and Seattle, the next one up. John Gray versus Gonzalez. Gray has been very good the last 2. Gonzalez 5 earned runs in each of the last 2. And I do believe one of those was to Texas here. I'm not the biggest Gonzalez fan. I'm not going to jump in front of it in case he's got a nice bounce back here today. But anyway, you're leaning on this one. I think Texas is about minus 115 on the full game money line. Mariners about minus 105. Any which way you're leaning here?
Seattle with a walk-off yesterday. Seattle 53-45. Texas 43-53. Yet, overnight number Texas minus 120. Okay, now minus 113 at Circa, guys. I've been reading these boards forever. I'm not saying Seattle isn't the right side, but they are begging you to take Seattle today. I have to lean Texas. I have to respect and trust the opening number. Texas is the right side here, guys. But like I said, Seattle is Seattle. Again, 53 and 45 versus 43 and 53. Walk off late last night. Momentum all there with Seattle, yet they're underdogs. So again, I was born at night, not last night.
John Gray, another guy that could be on the trade block as well for Texas, trying to showcase a little bit, and he's been, like I said, good the last two. So I think I'm with you on this one for sure. Miami and Cincinnati, the next one up. Garrett versus Castillo. Reds minus 150 or so, or at least this is about an hour ago when I checked. About minus 150 on the full game money line, -1, actually gone up, minus 175 on DraftKings for the first 5. It was minus 165. Are you backing Castillo pretty confidently in this one, or are the prices a little too tough to get into for the Reds in this one?
I think it's a trap. I do. We know Castillo. This is probably his last start for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Listen, we all know Miami can't score. I mean, it's just they cannot score. Yet the under/over is 8 juiced over, unless they think Garrett's going to get hit up pretty good here. An overnight number that opened at 160, now down to 147 at Circa, as low as 142 at Cincinnati. I'll just throw this out there. I think the Marlins are probably the dog play today. Will I be in there? I doubt it, but we'll see how the early afternoon goes. But I think they're begging you to take Castillo here, and I think that I'm not going to say the value play, but again, the numbers are telling me Miami is the right side today.
Right. And I mean, just looking at, I imagine a lot of people will be running to the -1.5 for the Reds at +140. Seems really enticing. And so that's probably going to attract a lot of people. And that could be definitely some issues there. So I'm with you as far as maybe proceeding with caution a little bit there. Tampa and Baltimore. We've already talked about Baltimore a little bit. Rasmussen for Tampa Bay. Wells for the Orioles. Pretty close to even odds on this one. I'm seeing minus 108 on FanDuel for the Rays. I'm seeing minus 105 on DraftKings for the Orioles. Is this another spot where the Orioles stay pesky and bite the Rays in the ass, or is this a good spot to back the Rays at a reasonable price after 4 straight losses?
I think, honestly, Scotty's a pretty good Rasmussen fan. I am not. Listen, I was on the Rays on Monday. Shame on me. I did like the Rays run line yesterday. I stayed away, and they find a way to win. I think this this O's team is rolling, cooking with Crisco. I think they're giving you a fair price here. I know an overnight number was 125, already down to 111. I do see at South Point right now where the Orioles are now favored minus 109. I'm going to stay far, far, far away, but I think the Orioles, if anyone's been back in the Orioles the first 2 days, no problem going back to the window for their third time.
No, I think that's the answer. If you've been rolling with them, keep rolling with them. I think that's the way to go for sure. And that one we've already gotten into the evening slate. Okay, 3 left on the slate, I do believe here. St. Louis and Toronto. Wainwright and Gozman. This one is in Toronto. The Blue Jays laying a pretty hefty number in this one. Minus 255 I'm seeing on DraftKings. Minus 120 on the run line. And not really any way to go into the first 5. Total is at 8 in this one. Is this a spot where, given that number, I mean, the Blue Jays are kind of rolling right now. And the Cardinals, obviously, 2 straight losses, 1 to Cincinnati, 1 yesterday. To the Blue Jays. Is this another one where the Blue Jays and Gozman roll, or is this something else you're seeing here?
I mean, I think Wainwright can keep them in the game. The problem is no Arenado, no Goldschmidt. Neither one of them are vaccinated. I talked yesterday on the show. I talked privately with Julian about that, and I didn't know which Berrios you'd get yesterday. He got hit early, but they just pounded him late. So again, if you want to add in your not going to get swept parlay with your Dodgers and your Houston, and you really want to go full chalk sandwich, Toronto, you could add to that. If you want to get cute and coy, you can go in and play the run line if you want to single it. But St. Louis just doesn't have enough firepower to keep up with Toronto. Not that Wainwright couldn't spin one of those Wainwright games, but
Sure.
as you said, Toronto's rolling right now. They're up to 54-23. They're back to 11 games over 500. And if I look here, yeah, sole possession of second place now in the East.
Yep, 7 in a row, 9 out of their last 10 at least. So it's easy to forget if you haven't been paying attention the Arenado and Goldschmidt absences. So I'm glad you mentioned that for sure.
And
Go
and
ahead.
I will say this: they were buyers, big moves. They got Berrios, and I think they added a bat at the deadline last year. Look for them to add as well. They could use some back end help. But listen, I know everyone's talking about the Yankees and Castillo. Listen, if the Jays make a power move and get Castillo, look out.
That's what I was just going to ask. Yeah, Castillo, Minaya, you think at least one of those two guys, maybe throw a third name into that mix, at least one of those guys, right?
Absolutely. I mean, could bring a lefty in with a Corbin. You just, at this point, it's an arms race, and you just got to keep adding what you can without mortgaging the farm, and then just try to plug and play. Don't forget, in the playoffs, and the playoffs are progressing, and especially when you get to the AL and NL, CSs and the World Series, those starters then also come on their day of rest where they're throwing their bullpen sessions. They then step in and then they get you 3 outs in the 7th or the 8th. So the more arms you have, the more flexibility you have as the season progresses.
Right, and Toronto's one of those teams that when adding any arms makes them significantly better, I would say, when you add it to that offense. So, yeah, I am with you. I think they're going to be pretty damn aggressive. But staying in that division, or heading to where you are at behind you, so far a split with the Cleveland Guardians. Quantrill and Eovaldi on the mound in Boston tonight. The Red Sox about minus 130 or so. That's what that one is telling me. Is that accurate? Minus 130, I think. Yep. And then 8.5 on the total. Obviously, the run line for the Red Sox minus 1.5 is at plus 145 or so. Anything you like in this one, or I can tell you're just disgusted by this team altogether right now.
Yeah, it's funny. They win one game on Monday, and then Vegas puts out a stupid ass number. And I was talking, I'm like, they're not back, guys. They're putting up a minor league lineup. Yes, JD was back. He's going through the motions. I would like to say I'm hoping Eovaldi is being showcased today. Great resume in the playoffs and in the World Series. Free agent after this year. The Sox aren't re-signing him. They're not re-signing JD. We know what the hell's going on with Bogarts. I actually heard earlier this week Bogarts to the Mets, which I laughed at. If he goes anywhere, it would be to the Cardinals. You can mark that one down, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. The numbers are trapped to me. It opened at 135 down to 126. Under over that opened at 9 is now down to 8.5. Quantrill is garbage. We'll be waiting on Twitter for SoCal DGens Quantrill when he's a dog on the road there, blah, 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 blah. I can't back the Red Sox at all. Anyone that wanted to go in and dabble with the Guardians, I don't have a problem with it, but I couldn't tell you. If you sent me $100 to bet on the Red Sox today, I'd send you 200 and tell you to go to Comiskey Park.
I love it. I don't love it for you, but yeah, it's sound advice. 2 2/3 innings for Eovaldi, 8 hits, 9 earned runs last time out against the Blue Jays. I could see it being 2 straight rough ones for him. I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, they're. I feel for Cora, and I heard something during the week, and I just cringed that where if they do become sellers and all this bullshit going on, that Cora could just say, "Hey guys, what are you doing to me? You're not putting together a team that's giving us a fighting chance, and this is the route we're going to go." That Cora could actually pack his bags and leave when his contract's up, and you're not going to get a better manager than Cora. Listen, on the other side of the dugout is Tito. He's my favorite manager of all time. We had him and we pushed him out, had some health issues, and there was some behind the scenes stuff that with painkillers, yada, yada, yada. I'm not even going to get into it. And then we bring in Cora, only wins us a World Series, gets us to the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. So I don't know what management's doing. It's not good. It's ugly in Beantown. It's just, if you've watched anything the last handful of games, it's the bad news Bears out there. They cannot field. It looks like a Friday night softball team out there that's got the keg next to the bench in the on deck circle. That's how bad they're playing.
It's not an understatement. It is not an understatement. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's rough. So, one game left on the slate. This one is on ESPN tonight. Yankees and Mets. The Mets get the win last night. Domingo Herman versus Max Scherzer. Herman's second start of the season. First one was not very good, obviously. Scherzer has been very good. The Mets minus 180. Obviously, Scherzer is Scherzer, but this Yankees team, this is probably the steepest line that we have seen against them all season long. They have not been playing as well over the last week or so. Split with the Orioles, or excuse me, win 2 out of 3 against the Orioles, but lose to the Mets, so 2-2 in their last 4. Any way to get into this one? Is this a spot where you see value on the Yankees at that underdog spot, or is this a Mad Max wire-to-wire dominance tonight?
Do you have the tomorrow's schedule? Is this a 2 and done in the Subway, or do they flip and go to New York, or what's going on?
I know it's 2 and done, and the Yankees head home for the Royals. The Mets head to Miami on Friday.
Usually in these 2-game Subway series, or these inner city rivalries, it's usually a split. Now you get the matchup of Mad Max, and Herman was garbage his first start back. You should get a better effort from him today. The price is kind of asking you to go in. I assume Max right now minus 174 full game. I assume if minus the hook first 5, you're getting Max at what, minus 125, something like that?
Something like that. On DraftKings, minus the hook in the first 5 is minus 130.
Yeah, so they're giving you the opportunity there. And under over that opened at 7.5, still 7.5 at circa 7 across the Vegas Strip after that. I could see some window shopping, people taking the value, and it's strictly value on the Yankees not to get swept by the Mets. Mets are set up for the sweep. I'm going to stay far, far away from it. If you wanted to take some pizza and beer on the Yankees, I have no problem with it. Max has been dominant since he's been back. I'm just going to grab some popcorn and watch.
No, I'm with you. I mean, maybe a crazy one where if the Yankees win, it's going to be in the late innings. I don't know. As far as Diaz got used last night, maybe Scherzer only goes 6-7, and the Yankees come out of the gates late in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Maybe that's what I would say if the Yankees get this one. But I believe that is everything we've got for the full slate of the MLB. Is there anything that I missed?
You missed your boys.
I don't know how it's. I think it's because I have it at the very top of my list, and I skipped it because it's not the first game up, and then I didn't go back to it. Well, luckily I have a few thoughts on it. Obviously, Giolito and Senzatella. Correct me if I'm wrong. This line is going. I want to say this was about minus 135 earlier in the day. I'm seeing about minus 125 now for the White Sox. 11.5 is the total. I believe yesterday, or actually I know at least earlier in the day, the total was 11, and that one stayed way under. Obviously, the double plays for the White Sox helped that one out. But anything you can say about this one? Giolito in a bounce-back spot, but he's been very hit or miss all season long. Was good 2 times out, and then obviously got beat up a little bit last time. So anything that you are seeing in this one for my White Sox in Colorado this afternoon?
Yeah, it smells to high heaven. How the hell are you giving me Giolito only minus 125 here? I mean, come on now. Now, listen, I got the banana in the tailpipe yesterday because I and you both know Kopech has been awful. He's been walking the park. And listen, there were guys on base all day. And like you said, and I said 4 double plays. And so now the total's at 11.5. I'll go out on a limb here saying both pitchers get hit. I think it's a trap. If you want to take the White Sox, I see why you want to take the White Sox, because they're saying, come on. It just smells to high heaven. It smells.
It does. And I mean, They've been hovering around 500. This is the first time they've been above 500 in 2 months, as opposed to them going on a roll. You would, if you're thinking they do what they've done all season, you would expect them to lose this one. Obviously, I'll have my optimism hat on and hope they get this win. But yeah, Giolito, I really, really have optimism that he'll be a lot better the second half of the season. But he still is working through a lot of stuff, and Senzatella obviously pretty similar as far as being hit or miss. So, yeah, I'll if anything, I'll take some action if they're down a little bit, and maybe I can get some plus money action on the White Sox. But I'm not paying the favorite tax on them today this afternoon.
It's a huge board, guys. 9-day games. So if I can make a suggestion to anyone out there that wants to listen, that's all. We just make suggestions here. We try to tell you what we both see here, and we do the same thing with Scott. And it's a slate that there are a lot of landmines and there's a lot of gold mines, and it's what you do with it. The Vegas playing Jedi mind tricks on a lot of games here. I mean, you wake up this morning, the Dodgers can't get swept, the Astros can't get swept. Well, they're like, come on, come over here. And then they're throwing, Giolito minus 125. They're throwing Eovaldi minus 126. They're, you can get Gallon at home at plus money against a Giant team that's lost 6 in a row. I mean, there's stories.
Darvish with just a little bit of tax at Detroit, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, you'll probably be drunken on the couch by 7 o'clock, wondering what the hell did I do this afternoon. So just be careful out there.
Yeah.
Be careful there. At 1 o'clock, I will have Andrew McGinnis on. We're going to talk CFL, and we will not have a closing bell because there's only 3 games. We went over the whole board. Tomorrow, what do you have for a schedule in front of you? Actually, tomorrow, Scotty's back. So I'm going to have Zaid Hussein at 1 o'clock now. We're going to be talking UFC. I've talked at length about Amanda Nunes. If you go on to her account on TikTok, it's nothing but promotion after sponsors. And I have a hard time believing her head and her heart is in. I know she's got the hype. She's minus 300 or whatever she is to get the belt back. But I think
280. It's going down a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've seen this before where fighters have peaked. Look at Misha Tate just trying to hang on. Look at Holly Holm trying to hang on. Look what happened to Ronda Rousey. Listen, Amanda was an amazing ambassador for Dana White in the UFC. I just don't like what I'm seeing behind the scenes. I said it to Zaid this morning. I says, she's got me real good here if this is all a ploy of the cat and mouse game, because she's just setting up to get the belt back up for the trilogy, winner take all, after for the 3rd time, and then just walks away. But, family, daughter, just everything sponsorship. I'll be excited to hear what Zaid has to say tomorrow.
No, honestly, same with me. And I enjoy watching the UFC, having a little action. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm with you. I am. I don't know. I have optimism that she'll bounce back. However, I'm not going to take any action on her. And it's a popcorn for me. It's a popcorn main event for me on that one, because I could see it going either way. I really could, because I don't know. Because you're right. Everything you're saying is right, and it leads me to believe that she might not have everything left in the tank. And Juliana Pena obviously showed what she can do, and is going to be even hungrier potentially here in the second one. So I'm with you. I'm not going to take the plus money on Pena against Nunes. It's just one I can't go against the Leoness, but I still agree with everything you're saying.
Well, as I'm sitting here listening to you, here I'm going to say this. I mean, look what she did to Cyborg. Look what she did to Ronda. Okay, if that's the Amanda we're going to get, how about this? You take the plus 280 on Pena, right? But you also sprinkle a little something on Amanda with a 1st round win.
That's fair. That is fair. I can see it. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. This one's tough for me. So, everything you're saying, I'm with, but it's a tough one for me. Like I said, I'm not the UFC expert, so
Friday, 2:30, we'll have Dan back talking Premier Lacrosse, and then we'll have Scotty back as well, 4:30 for the closing bell. I can't thank Riley enough here. I woke up this morning early, got some stuff done. Then and as I'm going over the time slots, I'm like, holy shit, there's 9 damn games here. So it would have been stupid to have a closing bell with 3 games. So we got the morning, afternoon slate in for everyone. Any comments, questions, concerns, you can reach me at EC Sports Invest. You can reach Riley at Riley_Magnuson1. You can send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. We got some big stuff brewing. Again, I will be co-hosting with Anthony Pepe on Sports Map Radio from 8 to 10 tonight, live in Hyannis on Cape Cod. If anyone's around, come by, say hi. Other than that, if you are wagering today, do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed morning and afternoon. Have some fun today. Don't go over your damn skis, will you? Please. We got a couple days left, and it's August 1st. We'll be talking pigskin. And before you know it, they'll be kicking off. So we got some work to do beforehand. So have a day, and I will see you in exactly 1 hour.